If you are a long-time WoW player, maybe you observed that Dragonflight doesn't seem to be as hyped as past expansions. When BFA and Shadowlands were close to release, there was even more hype compared to now. I'm not sure if I'm the only one that has this feeling, but I did talk with a couple of other WoW players and they feel the same. But there is a chance this may not be true for you. So that got me thinking, why is this happening for some of us? The main reason why Dragonflight is not that hyped is because of a general sense of burnout. After 2 expansions that turned out to be pretty bad, we are all kinda a bit hopeless in a way. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there is no hype for Dragonflight. There is. It's just that it's not as massive as Shadowlands was. Now we can all understand why people are more cautious, but it's still a bit odd. As of me writing this script, Dragonflight is about to be launched in 2 days, and for the past months, I completely forgot that a new expansion is about to come. This is the first time when I personally am out of the loop. However, I would not take this too seriously, since at the moment my real life has some issues that prevent me from focusing on WoW, and this kinda kills the hype a bit for me. I feel like the vast majority of players aren't necessarily interested in new classes. People play the new classes we got over the years, like Demon Hunters and Monks, but the original classes are still some of the most played ones, like Warriors, Paladins, Druids, and even Death Knights are more popular compared to newer ones. The Tractor is not in itself a new race, it's a new class that happens to also be a new race. People that like playing all classes will give the Evoker a chance, but the people that are interested in new races opposed to new classes had been disappointed by the idea that Tractors can only be Evokers. I for one am not that interested in new classes, especially if those aren't played ones. I've always played melees as my mains, and casters had always been last on my priority list. However, the Dractyr as a race is very tempting, and I will patiently wait until they can become more classes. I already have characters planned for them, and they have names and even backstories. The hype for the Dractyr was higher when it got announced. Then people began to ask for Dractyrs to be Warriors and Death Knights. And since Blizzard didn't give us a clear answer on when this will happen, the hype died down. It really sucks when we finally get something fun and unique, only to have it once again limited by Blizzard because why the heck not? With Wrath Classic recently claiming the main spotlight, players that are invested in it are not that hyped with Dragonflight. Some of them will just wait to see how the new expansion presents. This is by no means something bad. In fact, it's actually helping WoW as a franchise, because people seem to be a bit more relaxed and less negative overall. There was a huge hate wave during Shadowlands that now has toned down. The player base is at an odd point in my opinion. On one side you have the old school players that can't accept to play a dragon because they want to kill dragons, and on the other end you have the players that love the idea of playing with a dragon, something that is completely new. Because of this, there is a clash between the two sides, and because Dragonflight tends to be more fantasy compared to older expansions, some of the older players may feel like they are going to play a completely different game. I personally love high fantasy, and I would love to see WoW risk even more with the story. And if they one day decide to get rid of the faction war, for example, I would eventually adapt and wait to see how all this plays out. However, not everyone is as open as I am, and I'm sure there will be lots of players that could not even imagine the possibility of getting rid of the faction war. And that's exactly what is happening with the new Dractyr. There's positive and negative feedback about the new class, and the reality is that you can't really make everyone happy. With each decision, you will eventually alienate one side of the player base. But even if there are players that can't yet adapt to the new direction that WoW takes, in time they will get used to it, and eventually they will either accept the new changes or leave the game forever. Compared to older expansions, Dragonflight doesn't have any annoying grindy systems like Azurite Gear or Torghast, and compared to Shadowlands Covenant that were annoying in the beginning, all the new reputations have more account-wide elements, and overall, it seems to be more alt-friendly. We don't have yet all the infos for the new mounts and how rare they will be, but I sure hope we will not have to deal again with absurd respawn timers like Soundless or Fallen Charger. While I do have the patience to camp a rare for 8 hours a day, looking at a screen while thinking about the meaning of life or what the heck am I doing with my life, I for sure don't find camping to be that fun. I'd rather know that a rare is always there and I can just go and kill it with all my characters. Knowing Blizzard, there is a high chance we will still get absurd respawn timers, and if we get them, I guess I will find a way to deal with it. Luckily, watching YouTube videos all day long and overthinking are some of my favorite activities, so I will be able to cope eventually, or I will just ignore those spawns and instead play something more fun. I'm not expecting Dragonflight to be the best expansion, I'm still reserved about it, but so far, it seems to be better than Shadowlands at least. Maybe this time they will learn their lesson. I love Hopium. It's been years since I stopped raiding completely and I don't plan to return to it again. Maybe I will give it a try at some point, but honestly, it's not something tempting for me, and nowadays the vast majority of the player base is more casual and prefers to play the game solo. This is good news for us, because the new reputations and the new zones seem to be the perfect playground. Now that we don't have a borrowed power system like in older expansions, we no longer feel the pressure to log on every single day and grind, otherwise we will fall behind too much. Pressure and stress are, in my opinion, the worst ways to make people play your game, and since we don't feel that pressure anymore, maybe that's why we are so much more relaxed about Dragonflight. That doesn't mean I will not no-life the game like there is no tomorrow. I will definitely do that. But I want to no-life a game because I want to, and not because I'm forced to do it or because I have to do it. Big difference. Many feel like the expansion is rushed and it's releasing too soon. I can totally understand this feeling because, in a way, I kinda feel like not enough time has passed between Shadowlands and Dragonflight, even though this is not actually true. Regardless if this expansion is going to be a good one or not, we can all agree that, at least compared to Shadowlands, this will be for sure better. Because of all the issues Blizzard recently had, there is a high chance many people may return for Dragonflight, but not many of them will stick around for too long. I don't find this to be a bad thing, and in fact it's better for people overall when they play a larger variety of different games, because at the end of the day, playing the same game as if it's a job will diminish its overall enjoyment. But what about you? What's your opinion on all this? Let me know down in the comment section, feel free to follow me on all my social media accounts, subscribe to the channel, and see you next time!